make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Hello, and welcome to Let's Sip and Talk with Freema on this great Wednesday evening. We took it back just a notch for an hour, but that's okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you're ready for the Christmas holiday. I can't wait. I'm broke already with these kids, but hey, we got to do what we have to do to make sure they're happy. Anyway, we have on an American painter by the name of Chip 7 that lives in Bangkok now, does a lot of graffiti, a lot of art shows, a lot of good stuff, work with some high-end Nike, Smirnoff, Marriott, Red Bull, just to name a few. So without further ado, let's see what Chip 7 is all about. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm great.
Fine. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come on. Let's sip and talk with you to share your journey with us. So, Chip, for the ones that may not know you, give us a little history. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Chip Seven. I'm originally from a graffiti background. I started graffiti in 1994 when I was doing stickers. And then I would say around 1997, 1998, I started getting involved with doing art shows. And then I've also been doing art shows. So I do inside work, outside work. And I also do a lot of like audio and visual stuff. So I'm a mixed media artist from a graffiti background.
Wow. Now, when you say graffiti background, are you saying like your family was into it? Elaborate on that a little more when you say graffiti background.
Well, that's really how I got really serious about doing artwork. I always liked drawing when I was a kid, but graffiti was what gave me kind of a laser focus and made me really want to take my art full time and do it like as a living, and that's where I started from. That's where I first got some recognition, and then from that I was asked to be in some art shows, or people wanted to collect my work, and then from that I started getting into doing like more commercial work, but I still also paint outdoors also.
Wow.
Yeah.
So from some of the pieces that I've seen, how long does it actually take you to do like one of your most extravagant pieces? How long does something like that take you to complete?
Well, it could take anywhere from like the bigger pieces could take like a few weeks or a month even to do. Sometimes when I do commercial work, I have a team of people helping me paint just to get it done faster. But yeah, things can take anywhere from a few minutes to a month to do, depending on the size and the scale. Yeah.
And because this is your passion, I'm assuming that's where your patience come from. You're wanting to get it done. That's your goal, of course, because this is what you do. But my goodness, because I know, like for the outside pieces, weather definitely plays a part. I'm assuming. So
Absolutely.
you find yourself getting aggravated. If the weather is just not on your side, how do you get through those tough times when you can't complete your pieces because of Mother Nature?
Well, recently, because I'm, coming from staying in Thailand, which is a tropical climate, I was painting in New York, and when the sun was going down, I was like, "Oh wow, I can really, it's getting cold." You know what I mean? And I've been blessed that this trip has been pretty warm weather. It hasn't really been that cold, but sometimes weather is definitely a factor, like rain. A lot of times, rain is a big factor. So you just got to stay patient, and then if the weather doesn't permit, you come back and do it another day. I've even had stuff where I had to do that was at events where it was raining, and we just put like one of those kind of umbrellas like that people have to sit under, and we blocked the rain, and I just finished painting to get it done in front of the event, because sometimes at like a live event you only have about 45 minutes to paint. Yeah.
Wow. So when you do your live events, I know they're
hmm
coming there to watch you do your work. Is that like intense for you, or you kind of used to it? It's like they're not there. You're just doing what you love.
I'm pretty used to it now, I think, and I'm pretty good with uh, yeah, being able to talk with people and stop and work sporadically and that kind of thing. I'm kind of a talkative person anyway, so I'm used to kind of doing that. In graffiti, we do that a lot too. We'll be painting and then all talking with each other while we're painting. So, kind of used to doing both of those things at once, socializing and painting. So, yeah.
Like when you first started out, where did you get your ideas from? Like as far as images or your blueprints that you draw, where did all these ideas come from, or the paintings that you decided you wanted to paint?
When I first started, I was inspired a lot by comic books, and I would say my biggest influences, because when I was a kid, I was into comic books, and then when I got into being a teenager, I got really into hip hop and underground hip hop. So we would take the train to New York from Jersey, or we would go to Newark or these other areas of Jersey, because in New Jersey, the whole kind of the graffiti scene started in Newark in the 80s. So we would go there to paint, and it was kind of a mix between those ideas. And then I started coming up with my own characters, and then I started doing my own characters again and again, like certain reoccurring characters that I do.
Okay. How did like the Nike, the Smirnoff, Marriott, how did they end up contacting you? Is it just, of course, I know your work speaks volumes, so I know
Oh, thank you.
word of mouth and all that. I know that plays a major part. But how did they end up contacting you? How did that come about?
Well, with a lot of the kind of jobs I get, it's contacted through like advertising company. They'll contact me through the brand, and
Mhm.
that's how it will work out. With Aloft in Bangkok, the I think the owner had actually liked my work, and then we had got in contact directly, and then I dealt with them directly through that. So it's interesting. Sometimes it's recommendations, sometimes it's through a company, and then sometimes maybe someone knows, someone else, and they can then connect you for a project. It's been really interesting, because I've done all types of different projects, from music videos to live painting to toy design. It hasn't been one specific thing. It's varied, like month to month, which has been really exciting for me, as an artist.
So from first starting out, not knowing where you were going to end up, of course, because we don't know our future, didn't know if you were going to be, as successful as you are in the industry of graffiti. How did it feel when you first, let's say, had that big break, or was first recognized by a company that you felt was like, oh man, like I'm going to be working with this person, or I'm going to be painting for this person? How did that feel for you?
I mean, it always feels great. It's always nice to be acknowledged, and it's always nice to be able to make a living for what I love doing. Um, but I also feel that it's always just a constant grind as an artist, and it doesn't mean in a bad way. It means in a good way, because I love what I do. I have quite a passion for what I do, and I would do it regardless if I was doing it for a living or if I was just doing it as a hobby. But I think, it's one of those things where it is good to feel like accomplished with things when you get to do jobs, but then you're also constantly looking for what's the next project, what's the next thing I can do, what's the next thing to keep me occupied. But it definitely feels nice to get to work with brands that I looked up to when I was a kid, or get to work with artists that I look up to. So it's a blessing every day, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Do you feel like art is something that can be taught? I mean, I know you have art classes, and things, but can someone actually teach you to draw or to do the graffiti, or do you feel that's something you're actually born with?
I think absolutely it can be taught, just like other things can be taught too. With
Mhm.
my stuff, it was a lot of trial and error. When I was first doing graffiti, I really wanted to have my own unique look in what I was doing. So I would do stuff where it was like I didn't care if it maybe didn't look nice. I was going for like kind of just trying to find my own voice and do something unique. But there's techniques in art and graffiti that could without a doubt be taught. You know, I always have people say that to me, why they can't draw a straight line or they can't do this, but with repetition, with everything, you can teach yourself how to do it. And the thing is about art that I think is the greatest thing is just the therapy it gives us. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like people who enjoy doing art, you're getting just like you're just getting in tune with that kind of like that natural bliss that what you want to find. It's almost like for me it's almost like a meditative state when I do the abstract paintings and stuff like that. I could just get into in a zone and I could do it. I mean sometimes I'll work 18 hours in a row and I just stop to eat or something, but I didn't really even notice it because I love what I'm
Love what
doing.
you
So I
do.
yeah, what I love what I'm doing. So I think the main thing is like for people just to be able to concentrate on whatever they want to start drawing, doing something, you got to at least concentrate on it first, and you got to stay focused with it, and then who knows what kind of path you'll discover, like, or what type of style you can unlock. That's the way I look at it for sure.
Right. So when you're hired on for a job, are they more so saying, "Hey, Chip, design us something surrounding this," or do they already kind of know what they want and you just have to mimic it, or you come up with your own?
Well, normally with projects that I've done, they kind of maybe they're familiar with my work, and I've been
Mhm.
really blessed with the stuff that I got to do. It's very much looks like my work. It isn't really mimicking someone else, but it of course you do have to do design elements and go back and forth with them on what the project's going to be. Um, so it really depends on the project. There's been times where I was an art director where I'm picking all everything, and there's other times I'm working with somebody who's an art director. I might be working with somebody who's a director of photography, and then I have to be working with him to try to get to whatever the goal is of the project. So it really varies on each thing.
Okay, okay. I do have a question, and of course, you can choose the answer, or yeah. But as growing up, knowing
Yeah.
this is something you wanted to do, have you ever got
Mhm.
in trouble? Or maybe it's just me, I watch too many movies, but have you ever got in trouble for graffiti work, like doing it somewhere you should have really?
Yeah, absolutely. I got in trouble like in 1998, actually. It's when I first started doing my character, which is
Mhm.
I have a character which is like the eyeball kid character. It's like an eyeball robot, and it shows up in almost all my work. It's hidden somewhere, or sometimes it's in the front, sometimes it's in the back. But in 1998, I had gotten in trouble for spray painting a lot in New Jersey, and so around that time period, that's when I started doing this character instead, because I felt like I couldn't do my name anymore because I was already in trouble.
Right, right.
So it's interesting. Yeah, I have in the past gotten in trouble for it, but that
Oh,
was
I'm
like
curious.
a little while ago. But still,
Yeah.
it's like that's how I started first doing my character, and I think that's part of. I think it's a big part of graffiti, that element of it. It doesn't have to be, but for me, for the 90s, like the generation I grew up in, it's like we were very much into like the underground, the whole, and that's the ultimate underground, is it being illegal and you sneaking out at night and doing it when you didn't have permission. So,
Mhm.
you know, yeah, I've gotten in trouble before the
Is it like an adrenaline rush for you? You know?
Yeah, for sure. It's an adrenaline rush, It in the 90s when we didn't all have our phones. It's like if you people had phones, but we weren't in social media all the time
Right.
like we are now. And that time period, if you painted stuff, everyone would see it. Like where I'm from in New Jersey, you have to drive everywhere. So if
Mhm.
we would paint the highway, we paint the train tracks, we paint. So when you paint this stuff, everyone would see it in that time period. And it's interesting because even I took the train to come back to Jersey for the holidays, and I saw one of my old pieces from 1997 still on the train track. So to see something 25 years later, it's like yeah, I was pretty excited about it to see it was
Yeah,
still
that's
there. That I
huge.
that I still got respect like that. Yeah.
Huge. So you mentioned that you put your brand, your design, the hidden you say robot or
Yeah, the eyeball kid. Yeah, it's like a robot droid kind of character. Yeah.
so do you put that in every painting, even for like your hired work? Is it hidden in every painting you do? Or
It's
just
in almost everything, yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's in the signature, sometimes it's in a little piece of the circuitry, but it's pretty much in almost everything I do.
okay.
So so now because now it's been about almost 25 years of doing that character, so it's
Yeah.
interesting to see it's changed forms over the years,
I
and it
love it. That's major. That's cool. That's exciting. So, do
thank
you feel like? Because I feel like everything happens for a reason. So now it goes to, like you said, you couldn't do your name anymore. So you came up with a character. Do you think if you've never gotten in trouble behind your work, would you have come up with a character anyway? Was that the ultimate goal, or you were like, "Hey, because of this, let me do this"?
It definitely helped. There was a period of time I remember I just wanted to do characters, and a really good friend of mine, Rhyme, who's a really like one of the best graffiti writers in the world. He told me he's like, um, graffiti's about letters, so you have to if you want to do characters, you can do your characters, but you still have to do letters too, because this style of graffiti is based from letters. So I'm glad I was able to do both, but it is interesting to see how, like life takes us on these journeys where we don't know what the destination's going to be. It's just like enjoying the moment of it, I guess, while it's going on.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I don't want to hold you too long. I wish we actually had some of your paintings and that we could show. I don't know if we have anything. Let's see here. One moment. I wish we had some, Alan. I should have told Alan that. I didn't show some of your footage.
Yeah.
Somebody said something in the comments. Let's see. Oh, they said good morning. Okay.
Oh, good morning.
London.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Coming in. I appreciate it. Keon said, "Is there a current art piece that we can see?" Look, me and Keon was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm
If
gonna
if
have to share some of his work on the page on Let's Sip and Talk.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I was looking, I'm like, wow, that is very, very impressive. Do you have any social media handles or anything where some of your work is displayed that they can go to and check it out?
Y- yes, my social media on Instagram is CHIP 7 Land LAND. So Chip 7 Land. I'm also Chip 7 Land on Twitter. And then I also have my website, which is www.chip7art, the number 7.com. So all three of those places you can find my stuff.
Love it, love it, love it. You're amazing. Like I
Oh,
think
thank you.
it's special, someone to have the patience, the oomph and all that good stuff to actually do what you do. It takes a certain eye because I am not a visual person. I just can't do it. Alan said, "Do you own your own NFT?"
Yeah, I have some. I actually recently got into doing NFTs. So I own a couple of other artists, and then I have my own two that I've put out. If on my Instagram, if you look in the link, there's a click to the OpenSea, and you can see on my Instagram at Chip7Land the OpenSea link, and you can check out the new NFTs that I have. Actually, the next NFT I'm going to do is going to be about the eyeball kid, the character we were talking about.
What
So
we were talking
th-
about.
that's
Okay.
in the works right now. Yeah, yeah.
Go Chip. Go Chip.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We're definitely gonna have to share, some pieces on Let's Sip and Talk page and everything because again, it's breathtaking to look at your work. I was amazed.
Thank you so much. I
I was
appreciate that. Thank you.
exciting, just to know somebody actually just put in that work and take the time to do it and actually love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, gotta love it for sure.
Definitely. All right, Chip. I don't want to hold you too long. I know you
Okay.
got things to do. Look, I know you probably got to brainstorm, do some jotting or some blueprints or something. Big thing. So I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And you're back in the States for a little while. You're vacationing, but you're also working while you're here too, right?
Yes, I have an art show next week. It's on Tuesday, the December 28th at Orchard Street Paint Supply in the Lower East Side. So I'm getting prepared to do that show, and then that should be fun because I'm going to be releasing. I've been working on like a kind of a comic book based on kind of autobiographical comic book, and then I'm going to release that. Have a bunch of new paintings, and then. Yeah, it should be fun. The show is called 7 Years Away in BKK, so because it had been 7 years since I've been back in the United States, so it's a retrospective of some of that work.
Now, look, I know. Look, I was saying I'll end it. As you see, I talk a lot too. But what took you to Bangkok? Like, how'd you end up going?
Oh, okay. How I ended up in Bangkok is I'm actually half Thai, so I had gone back to Thailand like in 1995 when I graduated high school, and then I had gone there in 2004, and I had always wanted to go and live there, and I moved there about 10 years ago, and when I got there, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. I was doing art in the United States, but living in Asia, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do that there or not. But then I got over there, and then I've been there 10 years now. Been there 10 years. Been doing all my art stuff, and things have been pretty good. That's how I ended up moving off there. And
I see that Keon said this guy is something like a legend. Told you.
oh, thank you, Keon. I appreciate that.
Is that Maraja? I hope I'm saying that correct. She said, is that VARK Tech or Vark?
Yeah, I got the little headset mic going in case there's some other noises in the apartment that I.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much again. I can't say thank you enough. As you can see just from the viewers, it's like, wow. So I'm clearly Keon already went on your page and checked you out. So your work speak volumes. So
Thank you so much.
I've met you. I'm honored that you came on the show. This means a lot to Let's Sip and Talk with Freema. I really appreciate it, Chip. We definitely have to, keep in contact and see what's up next. Hopefully, I'll be able to come out to one of your live shows. I know it probably won't be no time soon, but sometime in the future. Hopefully.
That would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything, Chip, that you'd like to share with us that we did not discuss tonight?
Yeah, I would just like to say, like I had been away from America for 7 years, and I had come back twice in 10 years. So I haven't been back that often. And this trip, I spent a lot of time with family, and I really realized that it's the most important thing. Where before, a lot of times on my trips, I was just really busy running around, going out, doing all that kind of stuff. Where this trip, even though I got to work too, I spent a lot of time with family and a lot of time just catching up with people, and I think that's the most important thing during the holiday season. We remember that.
Absolutely. That's a must. Sometimes we have to take a step back and love on each other a little bit. So
for sure.
Definitely. Keon said, if a person can support themselves financially through art, they are legends.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you, Keon. That's true.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. And Chip, the last question, I promise you. I asked all my guests, for the little Chip Sevens out there who, they probably want to be great at graffiti or artwork, and they're probably nervous. So like you said, May can't do those straight lines right now. What encouraging words would you give them to let them know that they can do it? Or what would you tell them? What kind of motivation would you give?
I would say that you got to have a little bit of persistence to find your groove with anything new that you're going to try. Odds are you're not going to be good at it at first, and it's important just to be persistent, and then you find your groove and then see where it takes you, because a lot of times people quit before they can even find their voice, or they might be trying to just, and there's nothing wrong with learning the fundamentals or even being influenced by someone else, but I think it's important for artists to find their own voice because, you know, everyone is trying to do the same stuff. It's like odds are your voice, if you do something different, it will stand out more than everybody who's trying to do all the same stuff.
Right, absolutely. Great advice, great
Oh,
motivation.
thanks.
Chip, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
Viewers
thank you.
tuning in, make sure you go to Chip's social media handles. And Chip, if you don't mind just giving us those one more time, please.
My social media handles are Chip7Land, CHIP, number 7 LAND at IG. Also Chip7Land at Twitter, and www.chip7art.com is my website.
Thank you so much. You guys, thanks for tuning in. And as we always say on Let's Sip and Talk with Freema, peace and love. Happy
Peace.
holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye bye bye.